Welcome to the Rick and Morgan podcast, presented by Lemon Sports Network. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Ricky Lemon.
Hey now, welcome into the pod. We got a lot to talk about today. James Conner, Aaron Rodgers, the Seahawks, Eagles, and so much more. How you doing, Rick?
You know, I'm doing swell, sitting there at 10-2 in the fantasy season.
Before this show, we were negotiating severe trades.
Some blockbusters.
I'm 8-4. He's 10.
Yeah.
You're 9-2.
10-2, bud.
10-2. Forgive me for the disrespect.
Bow down to your king.
Wow. We'll wait till the fantasy championship, my dude.
Yeah, and then I'm not even going to get there.
It's almost over. Fantasy season's almost over.
It's kind of sad.
But when fantasy season's over, you know what that means? Playoff football.
True.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge.
Ginormous. Patriots are going to go to the Super Bowl and lose to the Rams.
By 40 points.
By 40 points. You ready to get into the talking points for the show?
Yeah.
In recent weeks, since Le'Veon Bell was a no-show, James Conner has put up pedestrian numbers. Pedestrian, Rick. Should the Steelers be concerned about James Conner?
Not yet, because I would say his matchups haven't been great the last few weeks. So I wouldn't, freak out yet. How many carries did he get? Do you know?
The normal 14, 15 carries.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be concerned yet. Jacksonville played their hearts out. They played their hearts out in that game and still lost, which is
that was 2 weeks
side
ago.
note. Yeah, but we're talking.
He only
last
ran
few
it
weeks.
9 times in that game for 25 yards, but they were losing big time.
Against Jacksonville?
So, yeah, they were. Oh, no, they actually weren't losing. Was it a shootout? I don't remember.
They were losing. They were down 21 points, I think, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then this week against Denver, that was kind of scary.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what
this week they played in Denver.
Yeah.
Which is not an easy place to play. I mean, he had 53 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Not great, but I wouldn't.
Denver hasn't.
I
Had
wouldn't
the
be
best
panicking
rush
yet,
defense in the league this year, though.
I still wouldn't be panicking though.
I think he's had a couple of decent weeks. I mean, against Carolina, he had 90-something all-purpose yards. And then he just had an atrocious game against Jacksonville. And then last week he had another 90 all-purpose yard game. So he hasn't been awful, but in those games, that was the separator for me when I was talking about James Conner versus Le'Veon Bell, right? Is the fact that Le'Veon can go in games against Carolina, Jacksonville, and Denver and run all over them.
That is true.
James Conner, if he can't do that, is basically like Le'Veon Bell is matchup proof. James Conner is not matchup proof. I mean, I'm not saying at this point he's not matchup proof, but if this guy ends up and they still have control over the situation with Le'Veon Bell, if they want to negotiate a contract and give him something
he's
big,
gone. He's not.
Or he's probably
not
gone.
coming back.
Or they can tag him again. But
I mean, Baltimore wasn't a good matchup for him, and he 107 yards, 58 receiving.
But my thing is, if James Conner turns out to be, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, and I want to ask you a question in a second, but if he turns out to be a little bit of a bust, right, then do the Steelers regret what they did to Le'Veon Bell?
If he turns into a bust, I think.
Obviously, that's.
I think so,
yeah.
But I mean, would you
Do
still
think
pay?
he will?
Would they still be willing to pay a running back that much money?
I don't know. Probably not.
When you have Antonio Brown and Juju on your team and Ben Roethlisberger that you're paying or going to pay.
I guess not, but a lot of people were really they won 6 straight games after going tie, loss, win, loss. You know, was it 2-1-1?
Yes,
or 1-2-2. Yeah, 1-2-1. And they had a terrible start to the season. I remember we talked about how the Steelers are in trouble and their locker room's a piece of crap, and
then they win
and they won the 6 straight. In that stretch of games, James Conner was really good. In all of those wins, he was really good. This past week they lost against Denver and almost lost to Jacksonville Jacksonville was up 16-3 most of the game. And then, in the last quarter,
Jacksonville
Pittsburgh came back.
should have won that game.
They should have won that game, but Pittsburgh came back and won it. James Conner played terrible in that game, by the way. But most of, Pittsburgh's success was always subtly tied to, not fully their success, but it was tied to Le'Veon in a way. Because Le'Veon did so much in that offense that it drew stuff away from the tight ends. It drew stuff away from the wide receivers. It drew stuff away from, pressure away from Ben Roethlisberger to make plays to Antonio Brown and Schuster Smith and all those players. So it created opportunities for other guys, and that's how good Le'Veon is. But the situation that you have right now is you have James Conner, who's had a couple spectacular games this year, and more than a couple spectacular games. He's had a fantastic season so far, but he's still a young player, and he's still not matchup proof. So with those two things being said, are the Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Denver Broncos worried about James Conner going into a game when they're game planning? No, they're not. They're worried about Antonio Brown. They're worrying about other parts of that offense outside of James Conner. And so I think that it's starting to put pressure on different parts of the offense. Now, I don't know where the Steelers are going to finish. We'll see how they end the season. They got very tough matchups. I tweeted it out earlier this week that the Steelers could end up being 9-6-1 this season. And
I don't know about that one, Chief.
You can disagree with that, but
I don't know about that one, Chief.
I want to give you the the games.
Give me a schedule because we gotta.
I'm going to give you the games that I think they're going to lose. So they got a matchup against. They got a matchup against the Chargers this week.
Home or away?
They're at home. I still think it's a tough game.
That's it. That is a very tough game. Yeah.
They could. I said could. I don't know. I'm not going to say that I think the Steelers are going to go 9-6-1 this year, but they could.
Oh, there's a chance.
There's a chance this year. Obviously, there's
one.
always a chance, but I think there's a good chance that this could happen. Chargers at Steelers this week. And they got the Raiders, so that should be okay. Patriots at Pittsburgh.
That one
also is a tough game.
Very tough, but
for
winnable.
New England. It's winnable for the Steelers, obviously, and then the Steelers go to, I forgot the Saints Stadium. I was going to say that, but they play the Saints on the road.
That's probably
and then they have I would say it's a tough matchup against the Bengals. But
no.
In order to go 9-6-1, Rick,
a Bengals team without Andy Dalton.
It's like you can't give the Patriots the Jet wins. That there's a chance that the Jets could win. That's a divisional rival. That's what I mean. I don't mean it. I don't think the Bengals are going to win that game. So I give the Bengals and the Raiders wins to the Steelers. If they lose, which is very likely, to the Chargers, Patriots, and Saints, the Steelers go 9-6-1, and they don't even win their own division. Might not win their own division. That Bengals-Steelers game might come down to that division if the Bengals can win a bunch of games, which I doubt when they have Driscoll at quarterback. But you see what I'm saying? They could go 9-6-1. So I want to see. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're amazing!" After winning 6 straight games, I'm like, "Keep your pants on, people. Let's watch some football. We got some real football games left."
It's like, no, I want to have your opinion on this. Do you believe? Are you jumping on the Texans bandwagon because they've won 7 straight?
No.
Actually, it's 8 straight now.
Yep, 8 straight. 8.
Wow.
Something.
Wow.
They've been spectacular.
8 straight football games.
I am not jumping on the Texans bandwagon. Believe it or not, I'm one of the lone people who still does not believe in
Deshaun Watson.
I don't believe in him at all.
Is it because he likes to run?
No, it has nothing to do with that.
You sure?
Yeah. I don't like the type of quarterback he is.
Right, the one that likes to run.
No, I'm not. I don't mean the running thing. We're not talking about the run. Like, I don't like Lamar Jackson.
Actually, I thought in the beginning of the year he didn't play well, and I
just
he was
don't
one of the
like him.
reasons
I
they
don't
were
like him
losing.
as a quarterback.
But did you see him? You did watch the Titans game, right?
Yeah, because I had to.
He was making some great throws.
Yeah, he's good. I don't like him that much.
Why though? What's the reason? Because
he's not impressive. He's not.
There's nothing flashy about him. Like
it's like when I watch Mahomes.
He reminds me of RG3.
When I watch Mahomes, I want to rip my pants off. When I watch Deshaun Watson, I'm like middle of the pack.
So you're into like the giant arm. the haymaker.
Because
Yeah,
you saw how I treated the giant arm early in the season with Pat Mahomes. I just mean would you put Deshaun Watson in the top 10?
Yeah,
You would?
probably.
I wouldn't.
I'd wait till like the rest of the season plays out, but yeah.
I think he is very similar to, and he's young, so this could change, but I think he's very similar to Joe Flacco.
So yeah, you have him
where he's good,
literally in the middle of the pack.
Where he's good
enough,
but he's not flashy, he's not impressive, he's not elite. He's never going to be elite to me, but
I think he could be elite.
He could be elite.
I think he's Russell Wilson, but
yeah.
Well, actually, Russell Wilson's a pretty decent comparison. I'd say he's about Russell Wilson.
Yeah. We'll see. I haven't bought in on the Texans yet, but
I have.
So to answer the original question, should the Steelers be concerned about Jamie Conner? I think they should have some slight concerns. I, believe it or not, am a person who completely believes in James Conner and that he'll probably be good. Yeah, so that took all season turn. But I think James Conner will be just fine. I do think he's not matchup proof, which is shown in the last 3 games. I think that people are not really concerned about him, which is why he was successful in the times that he was successful. And I think that we'll see what happens how he performs against how he performs against New Orleans, New England, and who's the other team Chicago Chargers. I was going to say
I think it all depends if they're winning, though.
Yeah, that's true, but they got to score against the Chargers. They're going to have to score points. Against the Patriots, they're going to have to score points, and against the Saints, they're going to have to score points. So if they're going to have to score points and they're going to have to score a lot of them, then James Conner has got to be a part of that. And if he's not and he busts out in those games, then I think the Steelers should really consider maybe saying, "Honey, Le'Veon, come back, please, help us." Because he's going to go, I'm telling you right now, he is going to either go to a division rival or he is going to the New England Patriots, who I would love that.
You think he's going to go to the Pats?
No, I don't think he's going to go to the Pats. He's going to go to the place where it makes some money, but I think he also wants to go somewhere that'll spite the Steelers a little bit.
Belichick in the negotiating room. We'll pay you $69 million.
I want $25 million a year
if you play special teams for us.
It's true. I'm not concerned.
Split carries with James White and Sony Michel.
I'm not concerned about James Conner. Number 2, the Packers lost another game en route to a 4-6-1 record this year. Do they have any hope at the playoffs? And is Rodgers to blame?
And no.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna say. No. Okay. No, not at all.
You hesitated there
a little bit.
Aaron Rodgers is still the best quarterback in the league.
He's had a hard schedule this year. I do think. Okay, so when you have a team, this is why I hesitated. Andrew Luck is arguably.
Love Luck.
I love Andrew Luck.
I love the Lucksta.
He. Arguably, he should be in the conversation for MVP, and if he plays his
he is.
If he plays his brains out the last 6 games of the year, he could win it if Drew Brees falls off a cliff. So, but what Andrew Luck, and I think this is why he really does need to be considered. He might even need to win it over Mahomes and over Drew Brees, is because what he has done with absolutely nothing in Indianapolis this year has been nothing short of spectacular. He's had T.Y. Hilton, and that's it.
Eric Ebron, bro.
No defense, no tight ends, as much as I love Doyle. No tight ends.
Ebron.
Average offensive line.
Average is being kind.
Second or third, a decent running back in Marlon Mack who can't stay on the field for his life. And he's doing what he's doing. Pat Mahomes was dropped at literally the best at every position. So he literally has all of the good people on his team. If Pat Mahomes was on Indianapolis, I'm not sure he could do.
It's like when you're playing 2K.
Yeah.
Mahomes chose the Warriors. Andrew Luck chose the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, but the Brooklyn Nets are actually winning. So, but when I look at that, right, and you look at how. And I don't know if age has anything to do with this. I doubt it. But why can't Aaron Rodgers, with a good offensive line, a good running back, a good tight end, Jimmy Graham,
who's out now.
A good, well, sort of, kind of.
Not healthy.
Two good wide receivers. I mean, his wide receiver core has gotten pretty damaged in the last couple weeks, but he's phased Randall Cobb completely out of the offense, which I don't understand. Why can't Aaron Rodgers seem to put up good
Very
numbers?
Interesting question. Because it doesn't seem like his play has declined.
No, he looks the same.
It's really tough. I want to blame it all on Mike McCarthy, but I mean,
I think it is McCarthy.
They've been together though.
Who when teams lose, coaches get the blame first. And who's the second person to get the blame? Besides quarterback. So, if you're asking me, the Packers are losing, their star quarterback is playing well, but why aren't they winning? Yes, you can put it on McCarthy. He'll probably either A, get fired, or B, they'll fire the defensive and offensive coordinators and work new, build a fresh offense around Rodgers. But you also have to put some blame on Aaron Rodgers. He's not getting it done. You look way back at the beginning of the season when he had to come back against Chicago in that first game of the season. That was the team that you wanted this year.
Yeah.
That's the type of play that you expected. I mean,
looking back on the game, too.
It was so long ago.
Chicago was a very good team.
They're a very good team.
We know now that they are a really good team.
Then we were like,
yeah, it's against Chicago.
But now it's like that was a very good team, and that was the Packers that you thought you were going to get. I'll add this as a note. If that's the Packers you get rest of the season, they might make the playoffs.
They're a Super Bowl contender.
Oh, if they make the playoffs, they're in the conversation, 100%. They can beat the Packers, they can beat the Saints, they can beat the Rams, they can beat anyone they want if Rodgers is playing out of his mind like he did in that Chicago game. But he hasn't. Something's off, and I don't know if it's that defense. He's getting so frustrated that he has to do all the work. That he's looking at it and going, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. You get me? He's basically making a statement to the Green Bay Packers organization saying, get me some talent, put some stuff around me, and watch what I can do. I can be 3 times better than what Pat Mahomes is doing in Kansas City if you do something.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Well, yeah.
Statistically
Chief. Play on words. So I think Aaron Rodgers is partially to blame. I don't think it's his fault fully. But it's an interesting question to dissect and ask. Why is Luck doing what he's doing for the Colts, and Aaron Rodgers can't do the same thing? If he really is the number 1 quarterback in the NFL, why can't he turn poop into gold?
That's a great phrase.
Poop into gold.
That's our quarterback phrase.
It really is.
We're gonna trademark that. Put it on T-shirts.
I wish I could spend more time on Andrew Luck, my boy. Just traded for him in fantasy too, by the way. Anyone that cares. Let's move on to our third point. The Seahawks are steadily becoming one of the best teams in the NFC. Are they a sleeper team in the playoffs this year? Are they 8-3, something like that?
The Seahawks?
7-4, maybe.
They're 6-5, bro.
6-5. Sorry, forgive me. Are they a sleeper team?
A sleeper team to make the playoffs. A sleeper team in the playoffs. No, they're not. They're gonna get slaughtered.
That was so definitive. That wasn't even a thought. It was like,
you know why?
They're done.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
The Seahawks are a different team at home than they are on the road. They make the playoffs. You know, I'm not great at math, but I don't think they're gonna beat out the Rams to win that division. The Rams are 10-1 and they are 6-5. That is a 4-game difference with 5 games remaining.
Yeah.
So
do you think they're gonna make the playoffs at least?
I don't know. What's their schedule? Hold on, let me bring it up.
So right now they're in the mix. The Cowboys the Redskins and the Vikings are the teams ahead.
All right, they play the 49ers
These
twice.
friggin' ties. Can I make a side note? These ties are ruining football. Like that should be a loss for the Minnesota Vikings. That freaking tie. That should be a loss right now. And they're 6-4-1 and have the tie break over the freaking Seahawks because they got a tie.
So this is interesting.
Ridiculous.
They have to play the Chiefs. That's going to be a loss. And all like that.
Oh, what is that this week?
That's week 16.
Oh, that's a good matchup.
But they play the 49ers twice in Arizona. So that could be 3 wins right there.
Yeah.
And then they play the Vikings home on Monday Night Football. That'd be a huge game for them. Loser of that game might miss out on the playoffs. Anyway, Dude, this is so tough. I'm gonna say they're gonna make the playoffs, but if they make the playoffs,
Who are they gonna make it over? Redskins, probably.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Redskins are the 6th seed right now. The Panthers are all the way down at the 8th seed, by the way.
And would the Seahawks have the tiebreaker over the Panthers because they beat them?
Yes.
So yeah, I could see them making the playoffs very easily, especially with that schedule. But
Here's
you
why,
go in, you play the Bears in Chicago.
Yeah.
They're gonna score like 10 points in that game in Chicago. In the playoffs.
I don't know about that. Maybe that's where I disagree. I think the Seattle Seahawks are a sleeper in the playoffs, and here's why.
I think they're gonna get pounded.
Here's why. Russell Wilson has been playing out of his mind lately.
Out of his mind is what
that offense has been. Oh yeah, I mean that. Okay, forgive me.
Save that for Patrick Mahomes.
Not Patrick Mahomes out of his mind, but he's been playing good, and the offense has been really good. And the defense has been, for some reason, is playing actually kind of decent right now. And I think they could actually do some damage in the postseason, considering they got postseason experience. Russell Wilson knows how to play. It's so hard for me not to say Russell Westbrook, by the way. Russell Wilson is, he's good enough to win. I think he's good enough to beat the rookie Bears. I think they could. I mean, I don't think they're gonna. If you're saying the Saints are, the Seahawks are gonna face the Saints or the Rams in the second round and beat them, I doubt it. But I think they can make it out of the first round. I really do. I think they could probably upset the Bears and go to the second round. I don't think that's highly unlikely. And with their experience, if they play a team like the Saints or the Rams, they might actually have a trip to they could be what the Jacksonville Jaguars were last year. They could be. And I think they might be.
I don't know about that.
We always assume.
I don't know.
We always assume that the top 4 teams are going to make it. But teams with experience and good defenses in the postseason end up winning out. And a team like the Cowboys, the Saints are basically, as much as people want to praise their defense this year, it's all offense. It's literally they give up like 35 freaking points a game. Like, that defense still blows. So if you face the Saints in that game, I think the Seahawks are going to, I don't know if they can keep up with it.
Dude, the Seahawks
have
lost 2 games at home this year. To the Rams by 2 points. And to a very good, I almost said San Diego, to a Chargers team. A very good Chargers team. They've also won 3 games at home. On the road, they're 3-3, and they struggle. Mm-hmm. They would be 2-3, but they had a big win this week.
And they'd have to play through on the road through the
They are not that good of a team on the road. That home field advantage, that 12th man, is one of the best in the entire sport. I just don't see Seattle going into another team's who's good enough to win their division in the playoffs and beat them.
Yeah.
So let's see, who would they play? Chicago or whoever comes out of the NFC East, maybe?
Chicago or
see,
Dallas.
maybe if you play like Dallas or Washington or the Giants, then maybe I could see them winning.
Or the Giants.
But if they play Chicago, I think they'll get stomped. I don't think that offense would be able to put up points against the Bears defense.
Mitch Trubisky will most likely vomit all over himself.
Dude, he can vomit like he
if
was
the Seattle
partying
Seahawks can
like
score 17 points in that game, they'll be okay.
If the Seahawks score 17 points,
they'll be okay.
I would be surprised.
It'll be 17 to 10.
I would be surprised if they score more than 10 points.
Mitch Trubisky throws 5 picks.
That would be a terrible playoff game to watch.
Yeah, honestly.
It'd be like 13 to 10.
It'd be freaking awful. I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to be a sleeper team in the postseason.
Let's magically say they get by the Bears.
Okay.
Or they get an easy matchup against like the Giants.
Yeah.
Or the NFC East team.
Right.
They go to the second round. In New Orleans or against the Rams, you think they have any chance of being within 20 points of those teams? There
is always a chance, Rick, that a team can win. Jacksonville made it to the AFC Championship last year. That being said,
anything can happen in the sport. So,
no, I'm not taking the cop out. I'm not taking the cop out there. It's true, anything can happen. But that probably won't happen more realistically. But I think if you had to pick out of all the teams in there, Rick, of all the teams in the playoff picture right now,
I'd say Panthers, Vikings.
let's just assume that the Redskins get out of there, right? And the Panthers don't make it. And the Seattle Seahawks get that 6th seed wild card spot.
Okay.
You have the Vikings, the Seahawks. So it's Vikings, Cowboys, Seahawks, Bears. That's essentially how it would play out.
Bears, Vikings. 2 NFC North teams.
You think those two teams... Well, are the Bears, who are a 3rd seed, really a sleeper team? No.
I mean...
If you had to choose a sleeper team, and I'm going to say a 5th or 6th seed
team.
like
going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, a 4th,
Vikings.
5th, or
I'd say the
6th.
Vikings.
So the Vikings?
Yeah,
you wouldn't take Seattle?
No.
See, I'd take Seattle. I don't think the Vikings have a good enough offense to do anything decent.
I would take the Vikings offense over the Seahawks offense.
Dalvin Cook looks like he tied a yacht to the back of himself, and he's trying to run down the field with that on his back. Freaking
Stephon Diggs,
you know what's funny?
Adam Thielen, and Kirk Cousins.
Dalvin Cook looks like an absolute garbage can, and when he was out, Latavius Murray was actually good, and they're starting Dalvin Cook over Latavius Murray. Yeah, that's not a good idea. I think they should go back to...
They should at least split carries.
Probably. I know they don't, though. They want the Steelers offense. How about that? Let's get to the 4th and final point for our main segment. The Eagles have been a disappointment this year, an absolute shattering disappointment.
Got a big-time win against our Giants, though.
Yeah, that's true. What is... so sad about that, too. I love the Eagles. I mean, I don't love... Okay, Carson Wentz. I love Carson Wentz, not the Eagles. But the Eagles have been a disappointment this year. What is the reason?
The Giants could still win out and win that division. They play the Cowboys and Redskins.
What is the reason for the Eagles' woes this year?
It's interesting because their offense hasn't been as good as it was in the past.
Yeah.
And by the past, I mean last year.
Does that have anything to do with J.J. being out?
I think that hurts because they don't have a running game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know if Wentz has been the same this year as he was last year. I think he's still recovering from the ACL. Not necessarily recovering, but just like...
It wasn't awful last week, 22
It took
28.
Deshaun Watson half this year to be the same as he was last year.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a little bit. When did he tear the ACL? At the end of last year, right? Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
So, I think just now he's, like, starting to... Like, this week. Like, right about now would be when he's starting to be Carson Wentz from last year. Yeah.
I mean, he had a couple of good games and a good stretch in the middle of the season, but...
Their defense is not as good as it was last year either. Not even close.
No, not at all. I think, and what's funny is that when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, right? Even before they won the Super Bowl, a lot of Eagles players were coming out and trashing the Patriots way, and trashing how the Patriots run their team and how it's quote no fun, and how it's your job. One job is supposed to be fun, boss. So, but they were like, it's no fun, and they don't care if they only win one championship and all this crap. Well, now you're seeing the results.
Now you're only gonna win one.
Yeah, you're only gonna win one championship. And how you said, do you like losing? Is it fun? Because the Patriots have been winning for 15 years. So, do that, and come back.
It's actually
to me.
like up to like 17 years now.
Dude, I'm not being a cocky New England Patriots supporter. But
I'm being a cocky New England Patriots supporter.
Philly, come back to us when you win 6 Super Bowls or 5 Super Bowls.
Come back to us when you win 2.
Come back to us when you're actually in the playoffs this year.
They're gonna win. Watch them win the division.
Yeah, they'll probably win the division.
Hey, they're not out of it, just like the Giants.
I think to me, as much as people want to blame Carson Wentz in this whole thing, I don't think it's his fault. People are actually saying that they should go back to Nick Foles. I'm like, no. I'm not even gonna give
the
that.
Nick Foles hype train is back.
I do think I put it on the Eagles defense. Here's the thing with the Eagles. They got hot last year. They got extremely hot. Similar,
lucky a little bit too.
Similar to the hotness of the Saints. The Saints blew last year. They were decent. I won't say they blew.
Yeah, they were solid.
But they weren't good enough to win a Super Bowl.
It was a nice bounce back year for them.
But this year, they didn't do anything different with their team. They didn't add any defensive pieces, with the exception of the trade of Eli Apple and a couple of draft picks and some
they're essentially the
minor
same team.
free agents. They're essentially the same team. They're 10-1. They're on the run of their life, and they could be a Philadelphia Eagles team this year. I think the Eagles got hot last year. I think they got a lot of confidence. They got really hot, and they got all the way to the Super Bowl. Even after Carson Wentz got hurt, they rid the Nick Foles train all the way to a Super Bowl championship. And now they're sitting here at, with rings on their fingers going, yeah, we won. But I think it was just that they got hot at the right time. Everyone was like, oh, my God, the Eagles are so good, so good, so good. I'm like, are they, though?
Hey, I was just looking at it. There's a good chance they're going to win the division still. I don't think the Redskins are winning the division. Not with Colt McCoy.
Probably not, but Dallas will probably win it.
Dallas will probably win it, but they play each other again this week.
Love it. Dallas.
It's going to be a good match.
Go Dallas.
The Cowgirls.
Oh,
hey, Amari Cooper.
Cowgirls,
you were right about
baby.
the Amari Cooper deal, by the way. That was a nice one.
Solid dub. I needed a nice win. I'm only getting basketball right so far. Yeah, here's another interesting note. Do you think Golden Tate, that trade, has hurt the Eagles? Because they've been trying.
I don't think it's hurt them.
They've been trying to feed it to him, and
it hasn't helped.
It's not really working.
Definitely hasn't helped. It's done literally nothing for him.
Yeah, he's getting about 5 catches a game and only like 30 yards. I don't think they're using Golden Tate the way that he is supposed to be used,
especially as a 1-year rental.
He's a
This is hurting his value.
He's a down the sidelines guy. He's a deep threat.
Yeah.
Post guy.
Are they using him in the slot?
Yeah.
Ugh.
That doesn't work. Yeah, especially when you have Jeffrey. He's supposed to tag. He was supposed to take things away to make Jeffrey
put
better.
Jeffrey on one side of the field.
Here's
put
what's
Tate
happening
on the other, and then put Aguilar on the slot.
I was looking at Jeffrey today for fantasy purposes, and actually, Alshon Jeffrey was on a tear before they got Golden Tate. Since then, he's been awful.
Really?
Yep. So I think they're trying to get the ball to Golden Tate because they feel like they have to because he made the trade. And I think they're not.
What, a 3rd-round pick for him?
Yeah, they give up a 3rd-round pick for him.
If they miss the playoffs, that's going to be such a bad deal.
I think he just got hurt too.
Golden Tate?
Yeah, I thought so. Maybe not. But they need to, if they know what's good for him, they need to stop trying to push the ball to Golden Tate. And they need to give it back to Alshon Jeffrey. Because when you work in Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Ertz, your offense is pretty darn good. They won last week. So, I mean, they beat the Giants, mind you. But they won. So, it's a step in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction, and it's a good start. The offense still didn't. A lot of people want to trash Carson Wentz because of his bad fantasy day, because everybody just looks at fantasy. But he actually didn't have all that bad a day for a quarterback in the NFL. He had a Nick Foles day. His completion percentage, 72%. 71%. 236 yards and a touchdown. His quarterback rating was 108, and he threw 22 for 28. Not a bad day. Fantasy people were pissed off because he didn't get that many fantasy points, but that's not a bad day for a quarterback. So he's going to improve. He's going to get better. The game against the Saints, where he had 0.84 fantasy points in that game, and everyone jumped off a cliff. He threw 3 picks and had a bad game. He was supposed. That was
a very bad game.
That was supposed to be the game.
Don't try to defend that one.
That was supposed to be the game where the New Orleans Saints came out and, were stymied by this Philadelphia Eagles team, and it just didn't work. Carson Wentz does not throw interceptions normally. He's usually very accurate and very smart with the ball. He only threw 2 picks, or 3 picks all season since he came back, until that Saints game where he threw 3 interceptions. So I looked at the stats and I was like, wait, Carson Wentz threw 6 picks? No, it's just because of the 3-pick game. So I actually don't blame the Eagles offense for their woes. I blame it all on the defense at this point. They're losing because their defense can't get the job done.
I don't blame it all on the defense because, it's not like the offense has played well. Their running
let's just
game
not cite the Saints game because that was just a poop all around game.
Their running game has been completely non-existent for 90% of the year.
Right.
So, and Wentz, as much as he's your boy, I know he's your boy.
I love you, Carson.
So you might want to cover your ears, but he hasn't played that well this year.
And been spectacular.
He hasn't.
What can you expect?
He
from a
hasn't
guy
been
coming back from
bad,
it?
but he
Tom
hasn't
Brady
been.
was terrible the year he came back from his ACL injury.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not blaming Wentz. I'm just saying he hasn't been great.
You want his season statistics?
Sure.
In 9 games, I think it is, he has 2,540 yards, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a QBR of, where are you, QBR? 77.2.
Do you know what their record is?
A quarterback rate of 100. So he hasn't been bad this year. I think it's just that one game made people roll on their faces.
If you do take out that one game, statistically speaking,
the 3 interception game,
good.
yeah, no, he's been really good. He's been
how many games has he played?
9.
What's their record in their last 9 games? Do you know?
Let me look it up. I will give you a,
because that is interesting.
In the 9 games he played, they are 4-5.
So with Nick Foles, they were 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So basically the same
Not
thing.
much of a difference, yeah.
So I'm going to say that is the defense. I'm going to put it all on the defense. You ready for our great segment? Just like I keep telling you people this, email us, Lemon Sports Network.
You just froze big time.
I was waiting for your response, but you didn't say nothing. So email us, lemonsportsnetwork@gmail.com. And you can sponsor this Patriots Minute segment. That would be spectacular.
Yeah.
You could sponsor it. You could have your
Sponsored
name right in
by
front of it.
Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
Joe from Target.
Joe from Target. The Patriots Minute. We are moving on to the Patriots Minute. Do you think the New England Patriots can win home field advantage this year?
Can. Yes. Will they?
Okay, I'll change it to will. Will.
No.
Yes.
No. All right.
All the Chiefs have to do is lose one more game and we hold the tiebreak. And the Patriots are going to win out. So,
are you sure the Pats are going to win out?
yeah, because they don't lose
sure?
in December. I'm going to go hard on that one. They don't lose in December.
I don't completely disagree with you because I play the AFC East the entire month of December.
I know.
And one game against the Steelers. That one game against the Steelers is in Pittsburgh. I'd say it's like a 55-45 Pittsburgh's advantage. I don't know, dude.
They always beat Pittsburgh, bro.
I don't know.
And I think Seattle. I think Kansas City has a chance of losing one.
Now Kansas City
one game
plays the Raiders twice. Those are 2 wins.
Yeah,
but they do. So is that game in? Let's see. Home against the Ravens, I don't think they're going to lose because the Ravens aren't the worst team in the league. But
yeah,
no, the Ravens are pretty solid. But it's in Kansas City. Kansas City against the Chargers. Chargers are a really good team, but again, in Kansas City, I don't see them losing. Now, it's interesting they play Seattle, but it's in Seattle. And as I was saying earlier, Seattle's a very, very good home team. That could be a game where Seattle or Kansas City loses, but
any 3 of those games.
But I don't know. I'd pick the Chiefs in all those games.
I'm saying the New England Patriots, as much as people were panicking when they were 7-3, we're now at almost 2 minutes. But when they were panicking at 7-3,
have the Patriots played well enough this year for you to say that they're going to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh?
They've beaten. I think they can beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, but
I think they can. Obviously, it's the Patriots.
I honestly talked about this earlier. I don't think Pittsburgh's all that great.
I don't know if New England's all that great.
Yeah, but Tom Brady is all that great. So Tom Brady will literally pull a win straight from his butthole if he could. Patriots down by 25 with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and they freaking rip it out against the Steelers. They rip the carpet right underneath the Steelers.
You think they also have to win this week against the Vikings?
Honestly, yeah, I think they're going to beat the Vikings.
I think they're going to be the Vikings too, but it's a game they can lose.
To be honest with you, this is one of those games that Bill Belichick will probably make the Vikings look like fools. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do.
Yeah, I remember you used to love the Vikings. What happened to that?
I do love the Vikings. I'm a Packer fan now. Packer country. Sorry, I'm floating all over the NFC North.
Yeah, I kind of like all 4 teams. I'm not gonna lie. The NFC North.
I don't like the Lions. Sorry.
I've never disliked the Lions.
I actually don't dislike any team in the NFL, to be honest with you. There's not a team I dislike.
There's a few teams I don't mind.
Asked me 5 years ago, and I would have hated the Giants, but not anymore.
There's a few teams in the league I don't mind seeing lose. I don't really like the Dolphins. I think that's an easy one.
Yeah.
I don't. Let's see. I don't actually like the Seahawks that much. I actually have pity for the Bills, so I don't have any pity for the
Patriots fans always have pity for the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills can win a game if they want. I don't hate the Jets as much as I think I should.
You guys are allowed to win a game just because you lose.
Because I love Sam Darnold.
The Darnold stir.
Even though he hasn't really played in like 4 weeks, and when he did, he kind of stunk. But
he blows.
Because youngest quarterback in New York history.
I don't think I hate any team in the league. I used to hate the Colts.
There's one team you probably hate.
No. Well, I mean, Kansas City.
Of course.
It's not because Pat Mahomes, because Andy Reid. Got it. I can't, if he lifts,
I don't like the Broncos.
If I see his face holding the Lombardi Trophy at the end of this year, I quit watching football for life. I cannot
save video clip.
I cannot. Oh my god! Like
Save
if I won
clip.
the fantasy championship, you guys watching me win the fantasy championship game, that you know how sickening that would be for you. That's the same feeling I get watching Andy Reid win a championship.
Would you rather have the Patriots beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship and you lose to me in the fantasy championship, or you beat me and have the Chiefs beat the Patriots and then the Chiefs win the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna have to say the Patriots beat the Chiefs. That would be.
You would rather lose to me,
yeah,
than watch.
I'll live. There'll be other championship years. You only get to beat the Chiefs once. To see the face of Pat, the stone.
Mahomes would have a great loser face.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, honestly, I would look. Yeah, you know do you know the face,
Pikachu meme?
Do you know the face he makes whenever there's like a penalty called against him that looks like he's just like he just stares at the guy. He's like, that's the face you'd make.
Open.
You'd be like. Pat Mahomes. I can't. All right, let's move on to Lemons, buy or sell. So we're going to go over 3 different statements, and you're going to buy them or you're going to sell them. You're going to explain why. You got it?
Yeah.
Let's go. Number 1, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, he's going to be a franchise quarterback. Buy or sell?
I buy. I'm all about the Browns. Guess what? Hot take, I'm going there. Browns, 2019 AFC North Division champions.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know, this morning I woke up feeling dangerous.
You know, I just woke up this morning.
I was
poured my bowl of Rice Krispies.
I was going to say nails, but we'll go with Rice
in my
Krispies.
footy pajamas.
My footy pajamas, and I was just like... feeling dangerous.
Feeling dangerous. Poured extra milk.
He's like, I'm feeling dangerous. Pours extra milk. I'm
feeling dangerous.
I'm going to buy. I thought this guy was going to be a dink.
He kind of is a dink.
He's a dink, but I kind of thought he was. It was funny because when he was asked that question, as a complete side note, when he was asked that question, he answered it dead serious. Like he was not joking when he said, "I woke up feeling dangerous." Like it was until after the media laughed at him saying that when he chuckled and like kind of laughed it off as if it was a joke. But I'm like, he meant that. If people took it seriously, he would have just moved on to the next question without laughing.
You wake up sometimes on that,
he is the
that
largest,
side of the bed.
He is maybe the largest tool bag in the NFL. But I love it. Every second of it. He can be as much of a tool bag.
Yeah, we like it now, and the Browns will go 12-4 next year.
They win the Super Bowl for like 5 straight years.
And then they play us in the AFC Championship, and he's holding his crotch against and pointing at Bill Belichick, God. And you're gonna say, "I freaking hate Baker Mayfield." I can see it now.
The Brownies in the AFC Championship game, I'm alright with that. If we lost to the Browns and they won the Super Bowl, I'd be fine.
That's how you know the dynasty's over.
You lose to the Browns in the AFC Championship game. That's too much. I'm gonna buy that. I love Baker Mayfield.
I like the weapons too. Njoku, I like Njoku, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb.
I thought he was gonna turn into Johnny Manziel. He's got the same characteristics.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to turn into him.
People are like, he's either going to be Manziel or Brett Favre. I don't think he's Brett Favre, but
no, God.
But
I mean, he might.
he's a little bit like Deshaun Watson, I think.
Yeah. I kind of want to see
fair.
this. I kind of want to, like, if he actually turns into something like a 4,035 touchdown a year guy, I like that. I would be okay with that. The Browns, fine. You know what? I'm going to walk back my statements. I still think it was kind of stupid to draft Baker Mayfield that high. You probably should have traded down if you liked him that much.
But
it was dumb to take him one, but if he turns out to be an elite quarterback in the NFL, then I don't think you, especially looking at the garbage around the NFL
deserves a round
this
of
year.
applause.
It does deserve a round of applause.
And hey,
Looking at the garbage around the NFL here with Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, all these freaking quarterbacks.
Josh
that we thought
Allen
were
has
gonna be
actually
good.
looked decent, all right?
Yeah, all right. Well,
And
that
Darnold's
little
still young,
tool bag getting
so-
drafted freaking 7th and going, I'm going to show the 7 teams that got drafted before me.
Oh, Josh Rosen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was Rosen.
You're
not
a
Allen.
tool bag. And
And
you're
he sucks.
yeah.
Worst
you're
of the
below.
4 so far.
I can't
Even
believe
Lamar
that.
Jackson looks better than him.
All right, number 2. Lemons buy or sell. Christian McCaffrey is the NFL's best all-purpose running back.
I'm not going to say anything in this segment because for anyone who knows me, I don't know if it's been established on
Yeah,
this
he loves
podcast.
Christian McCaffrey.
When Christian McCaffrey was drafted in the 2017,
We're
it was
gonna get a little
2017 NFL draft. I looked at him and I said, "This kid's going to be a star." Some of you laughed at
I
me.
looked at him. This kid's going to be a star.
I was trying to do that, like, seriously, but it didn't. I love McCaffrey. All right, he's my favorite player in the league, probably behind Mahomes. Always get him on my fantasy team. So to answer your question,
I draft him every year.
but yeah, no, but seriously though, he has the best hands of any running back in the league.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I was kind of thinking about it this morning, and he to me is he's not the best running back in the football.
He's not.
He's not the best running
And this
back.
is coming from someone who loves him, but he's not.
He's not the best running
good,
back in
though.
the NFL, and I don't even think he's the best all-purpose running back in the NFL
Would
either.
you say Gurley?
I would say Gurley because he's so friggin' good at football.
I think
but,
Barkley's in that discussion.
Barkley
too.
might be in that discussion too, but he's kind of an interesting. Christian McCaffrey's kind of interesting. He's not the best runner and he's not the best pass catcher, but he's the best altogether. Like you put him in a
Yeah, he's like
yeah
Deion Lewis if
he was actually good.
like a healthy,
I don't
better
think you-
runner, Deion Lewis.
I don't think you were going there, were you?
No,
no. not
he's
that direct.
he's essentially a third down back, is what I was trying to say. He's like Darren Sproles, but
yeah
can run
Yeah,
on
I
first
feel
down.
you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That can get 20 carries a game.
I think they don't use him. They just recently figured out how
Yeah,
to use
I was
him.
just gonna say they've been using him well, but in the past,
They don't use him as effectively as I think they could.
I agree
Like if
with
you
that,
put
yeah.
him in the right, like if Christian McCaffrey was on the Rams,
the Chiefs.
yeah, that would be kind of scary. I do like Christian McCaffrey. He not the best all-purpose running back in the NFL yet, but in 2 years he might be. And that type of play.
I would say the best all-purpose
in a
is probably
fantasy
Gurley,
perspective, Christian McCaffrey might be the best running back in fantasy in 2 years.
So you finally jumped on the train.
I've been on the train. It just looked like I wasn't.
You've just been hiding
I've been
in the
hiding.
shadows
I've been hiding in the back of the train, just like watching, waiting to come out.
while I'm driving it.
You're in the front, you're driving it. I'm like sitting in the back,
head's
going,
out
"Does
the window."
anybody see me? Does anybody see me?" I got like soft takes, and all of a sudden I come out. I'm like, "I was on the train all along. I was here." I did say that Christian McCaffrey, quote, would never be a 30 fantasy point a game guy. I was wrong. Very wrong. Number 3. This is the number 3 buy or sell. I'm gonna. Oh, actually, we never said we were gonna buy or sell that. We just answered the question that wasn't there. I'm gonna sell that for now.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell.
Number 3, the Colts will win the division. Buy or sell?
Sell.
That was definitive.
See you later. Yeah. No. Do you say buy?
I haven't answered yet.
Well, answer.
Give me 2 seconds to give an informed answer.
So they play this week. The Colts play the Texans. That's gonna be a great game.
They can. Will they? No.
Okay, I agree with that. I think they can. Obviously, they'd have to win this week, and they'd probably have to win out.
I'm gonna have to say I sell, but I do think the Colts will make the playoffs.
Oh wait, no, the Colts. Sorry, the Texans play the Colts next week, not this week. But yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I love Andrew Luck. We talked about this. We've already established this. But I don't love the Colts team, though.
I gotta see if the wins can continue to translate, because Andrew Luck has played really well this year, but sometimes it didn't translate into victories. So I need to see if they can continue to translate into victories, and if they do, I mean, honestly, to me, I think the Colts need to win 10, 11 games to make the playoffs. And
so essentially winning out.
Right. They would have to steal a playoff spot from either the Ravens
Chargers
or the Chargers.
Well, the Chargers. So I'm looking at the playoff picture right now.
Yeah.
And they actually are in a pretty good spot, considering the Ravens have kind of low-key benched Joe Flacco, which is like a developing story that we haven't really talked about.
Nope, not yet.
And then the Chargers are, I think, are clearly the top wildcard team.
I would say high-key bench Joe Flacco.
Well, they have him listed as out with the hip
in
injury.
Public.
Yeah, but like... which, by the way, I remember you saying something about Lamar Jackson earlier this year, saying like,
"Oh, I don't like Lamar Jackson at all."
You're like, no, you said you would like him more if they didn't play him at all this year and has a full year to sit behind Flacco, and you're like, if he plays this year, that's not going to be a good thing. Well,
it's not a good thing. He can't throw the
football. They're 2-0 with him as their quarterback.
Oh boy, yeah. And so, do you want me to bring?
Would you rather Joe Flacco?
Do you want me to bring
Jackson?
up the Denver Bronco days with Tim Tebow? No,
Skip Bayless style.
Yeah, Skip Bayless style.
Anyway, I don't think. I mean, what team? You think the Bengals are going to catch them?
We'll bypass Tim Tebow anyway.
Yeah, we're not going there. Do you think the Bengals can catch the Colts?
No.
Do you think the Titans can catch the Colts?
No.
Do you think the Dolphins can catch the Colts?
No.
Do you think the Broncos can catch the Colts?
No.
Those teams are all 5-6.
Do you think the Browns can catch the Colts?
That'd be dope.
Yeah, that would be funny.
But no.
Yeah, no. So the Colts will definitely, if they get in, they'll probably win the 6th seed. I don't think the Ravens are going to continue winning, especially if they keep playing Lamar Jackson. At some point, the Baltimore Ravens are going to run into a football team where Lamar Jackson can't run for 6 touchdowns.
That's true. We played the Raiders. They played the Raiders this week. That was a fake one.
So I don't believe in him at all, and I think that the Ravens will probably lose a couple more games. I think the Colts can win out and go 11-5, and I think that the Ravens could probably lose a couple of games and be kicked out. I do want the Colts to do that. I hope they do.
Side take.
Yep.
I'm very upset at the draft this past year. The Patriots were interested in the 2 quarterbacks that they were interested in.
Lamar Jackson.
Was Baker Mayfield, and we were all like, they're interested in Baker Mayfield. Wow. Hindsight is 20/20, but Bill, you should have did something. Baker Mayfield would have been nice right now, and Lamar Jackson. And I know you hate him.
No, I don't want Lamar Jackson. I want to stay very far away from Lamar Jackson.
Wouldn't you have rather?
You can love his 2 wins, but when you actually watch those games,
all
he does is drop back in the pocket and like run it.
But he's a gamer, though. That's what I will say about Lamar Jackson. He's a gamer.
Never mind. All right, let's move on to pick 'em. Cue the music. Saints at Cowboys.
Please don't pick the Cowboys. I'm picking the Saints.
I'm taking the Cowgirls. Ride it.
Every week, man.
Bears or Giants?
Bears.
I'm gonna take the Giants.
Oh shoot, you're right, Giants. We gotta ride the train.
The Giants. We're
riding the train until we officially can't.
Cardinals at Packers.
It crashes.
Packers will get the dub. Colts at Jaguars.
Colts.
Browns at Texans.
Browns, baby. End the streak.
Brownies. Panthers at Bucks.
Panthers.
Bills at Dolphins.
I am jumping through a table this week. I'm breaking my own rule. Josh Allen.
I just want to note that last week you toasted me for taking the Bills, and they won.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take the Dolphins this week.
Bills.
Broncos at Bengals.
Broncos at Bengals? Dude, I don't know if the Red Dead Redemption quarterback over there for Cincinnati, Driscoll, is going to do anything, so I'm going to go with the Broncos.
I'm going to say the Broncos, too. Ravens at Falcons.
Actually, this one's going to be a good game. I want to ride my boy Lamar Jackson, but I think I'm going to go with the Falcons.
I'm going to take the Falcons, too. Rams at Lions? Rams.
Yeah.
Chiefs at Raiders?
Chiefs.
Jets at Titans?
Titans.
Vikings at Patriots? Sunday afternoon.
Sneaky good game.
Patriots. 49ers at Seahawks?
Yeah, Seahawks. I had to think about it for a second.
Chargers at Steelers?
This is going to be a great game. I'm going to say Steelers. It's going to come
take
down
the
to
San Diego Chargers. Redskins at
Los
Eagles?
Angeles. Put it in the jar.
Oh, sorry. Los Angeles. Yeah,
I almost did that
put
earlier.
$1 in the jar. Redskins at Eagles Monday Night Football.
This is kind of a game, but I'm going Eagles.
I'm going to go Eagles, too. And that could be a game that they win and maybe can sneak into the division contention or wild card contention, at least. So as we always do to end the show, we are going to do our fantasy plays of the week. And I'll start because Ricky's got to pick somebody on his team. So I'm going to say Cam Newton against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay blows, but for some reason they always are able to throw 4 touchdowns and 400 yards no matter who they start at quarterback. So I'm going to say Cam Newton is going to have a day, and you should probably start him this week if you have him. I mean, if you have Cam Newton, you probably should be starting him anyway, but I think he's going to get the most fantasy points this week. Go ahead, Rick.
You know, you laugh at me for this.
Oh, boy.
I pick my team. I pick someone off my team every week. And I've been right, I think, 3 or 4 weeks now.
Okay.
I picked Mahomes against the Rams. I picked Christian
That's
McCaffrey.
Such a cop out.
I picked McCaffrey last week, I think. He got 35 points. I think I picked Barkley one week that he got like 30 plus, right? So you got to take these very seriously from me, and this is totally not a joke, okay? I am dead serious when I say these, and I'm totally not pulling them out of my butt, all right?
Yes, you are.
Christian McCaffrey this week is up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I just took Cam Newton.
Last time McCaffrey played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier this year, he had 27 fantasy points. Ride the train, boys. I'm driving and I ain't crashing. McCaffrey all the way this week.
Just make sure the caboose is warm. All
and
right?
Morgan, you stay in the back.
See you later, Rick.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Rick and Morgan podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and check us out online at lemonsportsnetwork.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at RickMorganPod. See you later.